He was the wisest man in Athens, and for that, they killed him. The city that praised free thinking suddenly turned on its greatest thinker. This is the story of Socrates' trial, his defiant last words, and why he chose to drink poison rather than betray the truth. The year was 399 BC, a period of immense change and lingering tension in Athens. The city, still recovering from the devastating Peloponnesian War, was a hotbed of political instability and social unrest. Amidst this turmoil, an unusual figure roamed the agora, engaging citizens in relentless philosophical debate. This was Socrates, known not for his wealth or lineage, but for his insatiable curiosity and his challenging method of inquiry. Yet, his relentless questioning, his insistence on intellectual rigor, began to make enemies. 3 prominent citizens, Meletus, Anytus, and Lycon, stepped forward, lodging formal charges against him. The accusations were grave, corrupting the youth of Athens by encouraging them to question traditional values, and impiety, for failing to acknowledge the city's gods and introducing new divine practices. It was a moment that would set in motion a chain of events sealing the fate of one of history's most influential thinkers. The trial of Socrates was unlike any other. It wasn't merely a legal proceeding, it was a clash of ideologies, a confrontation between established power and radical thought. Socrates, rather than employing conventional legal tactics, used the courtroom as an extension of his philosophical arena. He didn't beg for mercy or express remorse. Instead, he fearlessly articulated his purpose: to serve the city by prompting its citizens to examine their lives and virtues. He explained that his divine sign, an inner voice that warned him against certain actions, was a guide, not a new deity. His defense, meticulously documented by his student Plato, was a brilliant yet ultimately defiant assertion of his innocence and the value of his life's work. He challenged the very basis of the accusations, arguing that his questioning was not corruption, but a service essential for the moral health of Athens. He even famously stated that he deserved free meals at the Prytaneum, an honor usually reserved for Olympic victors rather than punishment. This uncompromising stance, while intellectually profound, further alienated many of his accusers and the Athenian jury, who sought conformity, not challenge. After hours of impassioned arguments and deliberations, the moment of truth arrived. The jury, composed of 501 Athenian citizens, cast their votes. The outcome was chilling. Socrates was found guilty. While the initial vote on guilt was close, his defiance during the penalty phase, where he refused to propose a reasonable alternative punishment and instead suggested a reward, solidified the jury's decision. The ultimate sentence was pronounced: death by hemlock poisoning. This was not a swift, brutal execution, but a prescribed, slow, and agonizing end. A profound sense of shock rippled through the courtroom, a collective gasp as the gravity of the decision settled. For many, it was an unthinkable fate for a man who had dedicated his life to wisdom and virtue. For others, it was the necessary silencing of a dangerous voice. Following his condemnation, Socrates was taken to the state prison, a somber, stone-walled enclosure. His friends and disciples, heartbroken and desperate, gathered around him, their faces etched with grief and disbelief. They hatched a plan, a feasible escape route to spirit him away from Athens and into exile. The opportunity was there, a chance to avoid the tragic fate. But Socrates, even in the shadow of death, remained utterly steadfast in his convictions. He argued that to escape would be to betray the very laws he had lived under and taught others to respect. He believed that to disobey the state's decree, even an unjust one, would be to invalidate his lifelong pursuit of truth and moral order. He would not undermine the rule of law, no matter how flawed its application in his case. His final days were not spent in fear or despair, but in calm philosophical discourse, comforting his weeping companions and discussing the immortality of the soul, turning his prison cell into a classroom one last time. The day of execution arrived, a day that would forever mark Athenian history. As the sun set, the jailer entered, bearing the cup of hemlock, a potent, paralyzing poison. With a composure that astounded his grieving friends, Socrates took the cup. He examined it, as if it were an object of philosophical inquiry, and without hesitation, he drank. He then walked around, as instructed, until his legs felt heavy, then lay down. His friends, witnessing his serene acceptance, could no longer contain their sorrow, breaking down in uncontrollable sobs. Socrates, ever the teacher, gently chided them, reminding them of the need for fortitude in the face of destiny. His breathing grew shallow, his body slowly succumbed to the poison, losing sensation from his feet upwards. His very last words, recorded by Plato, were an act of piety. "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius. Pay it, and do not neglect it." A final, poignant request, a demonstration of his enduring reverence and intellectual clarity even in death. His passing was not one of fear, but of profound peace, a true testament to a life lived in accordance with reason and virtue. Socrates may have perished by the hand of the state he so deeply cherished, but his death was far from an end. It was, in fact, a pivotal moment, a powerful catalyst that reverberated through the corridors of history. His most famous student, Plato, deeply affected by the injustice, dedicated his life to preserving and expanding Socrates' ideas, shaping Western philosophy for millennia to come. The image of Socrates, the unyielding seeker of truth, became a beacon for countless philosophers, scholars, and activists throughout the ages. His relentless questioning, his unwavering commitment to virtue, and his courageous acceptance of his fate forged an enduring legacy. He became a martyr for intellectual freedom, an eternal symbol of critical thought, and a testament to the idea that the unexamined life is truly not worth living. His death, a tragic event, ultimately became the foundation for a philosophical revolution, proving that ideas, even when silenced, can transcend time and inspire generations to question, to think deeply, and to stand unwavering for what they believe is right.